Two legends, and a moment nobody saw coming. The audience was already buzzing. Two guests on The View at once. Dolly Parton, 70 years in the business, global icon, and Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, promoting her latest venture. The energy should have been electric. It started small. A comment from Meghan that landed slightly wrong. A response from Dolly that was gracious but pointed. Someone whose effortless warmth made her own careful performance look hollow by comparison. The first real confrontation came 7 minutes in. Meghan made a remark about authentic advocacy, a phrase clearly aimed at Dolly's legendary philanthropy. Dolly's response was gentle, humble, almost self-deprecating. And somehow, that gentleness made Meghan angrier. What followed was 15 minutes of the most uncomfortable television The View has ever broadcast. By the end, Dolly Parton, who has never had a public feud with anyone in 6 decades of fame, was sitting in stunned silence. And Meghan Markle was walking off the stage while Whoopi Goldberg said words she never thought she'd say on live television. You're not going to believe how this unfolds. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is your moment. Hit that button, turn on notifications, and join us. Let's get into it. The View studio was charged with unusual energy. 2 major guests sharing the couch was rare enough, but Dolly Parton and Meghan Markle together had generated massive pre-show interest. Social media was already buzzing. The audience had lined up hours early. The guests arrived separately. Dolly first, breezing in with her signature warmth, hugging everyone, complimenting the studio, making the crew laugh within 30 seconds. She settled onto the couch like she owned it, comfortable in her own skin in that way only someone with 60 years of fame could manage. The cameras began rolling. We have 2 incredible women with us today, Whoopi began. Dolly Parton, who needs no introduction, and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Welcome to you both. The audience cheered enthusiastically. So let's start with what you're both working on. Dolly, you've got the new album, the continued imagination library work. What else? Dolly's face lit up. Oh, honey, I never stop. The library just hit 200 million books donated. 200 million. Can you believe it? Little kids all over the world getting free books every month. That's what keeps me going. The audience applauded warmly. And Meghan, you've got the lifestyle brand. As ever. Tell us about that. Meghan straightened slightly. We're creating products that bring intentionality to everyday moments, elevating the ordinary into something meaningful. Like what specifically? Joy asked. Artisanal jams, curated home goods, things that reflect values-aligned consumption. Dolly leaned in with genuine curiosity. Values-aligned? What does that mean, sweetheart? It means choosing products that reflect who you are and what you believe in. Well, I just choose things I like, Dolly said with a laugh. Ain't got time to check if my jam agrees with my politics. The audience laughed. Meghan's smile tightened almost imperceptibly. Dolly, the imagination library is extraordinary, Sunny said. 200 million books. How did that even start? My daddy couldn't read, Dolly said simply. Smartest man I ever knew, and he couldn't read a word. Broke my heart. So I thought, what if every child could have books? Not just rich kids. Every child. Started in my county, spread to the state, then the country. Now it's worldwide. I just wanted kids to have what my daddy didn't. The audience was visibly moved. And it's completely free to families, Sarah Haynes added, funded entirely by donors. Every penny. Parents sign up, books show up every month until the child turns 5. No strings, no catches, just books. Meghan shifted in her seat. That's wonderful, though I think there's something to be said for teaching children about mindful consumption rather than simply giving them things. The panel went quiet. Dolly turned to look at Meghan with that trademark, gracious expression. Sweetheart, when a child in Appalachia gets their first book, a book with their name on it, addressed just to them, that's not mindless consumption. That's a door opening. I didn't say mindless. I said, I know what you said, and I'm just saying that some of these children have nothing, no books in the house at all. You want to teach them mindful consumption, first they need something to consume. You can't be thoughtful about choices you don't have. The audience applauded. Meghan's face had gone slightly pink. Joy tried to redirect. Meghan, tell us about the retreat you did in Australia recently, the wellness event. It was transformative. Women coming together to share experiences, to grow, to connect. $3,000 a ticket, though, Anna Navarro observed. That's steep for most folks. Value isn't only measured in dollars. Dolly chuckled softly. That's true. But honey, when I do concerts in poor areas, I make sure the tickets are affordable. Some things shouldn't only be for people who can write big checks. The retreat offered a premium experience. And I'm sure it did. I'm just saying, if the goal is really helping women, maybe the door shouldn't be so expensive to walk through. Meghan turned to face Dolly directly. Not everyone can give away 200 million books, Dolly. Some of us have to build sustainable business models. I'm not giving away my own money, honey. I raise it. I ask people to help. I built Dollywood to fund these programs. The theme park pays for the books. That's a sustainable model too. I just don't charge the children at the end of it. Whoopi stepped in. I think you're both approaching philanthropy differently, which is fine. I'm not sure it is fine, Meghan interrupted. There's an implication here that my work is somehow less valid because it has a business component. Dolly's voice remained gentle. I'm not implying anything, darling. I'm just answering questions, same as you. Let's talk about your career longevity, Dolly, Sunny said, clearly trying to shift away from the tension. 60 years in the spotlight. How do you handle criticism? Dolly laughed. Oh, I've been criticized plenty. My look, my music, my choices. You know what I do? I just keep going. The people criticizing aren't paying my bills or raising my spirits. I focus on the folks I'm trying to help. That's wise, Sarah said. Meghan, you've faced significant media criticism. How do you handle it? I've found that much of the criticism is rooted in bias, in racism, in misogyny. It's not really about me. It's about what I represent. Dolly nodded slowly. I've faced some of that too. Being a woman in country music in the 60s wasn't exactly welcoming. But I always figured, if I keep doing good work, eventually the work speaks louder than the critics. But you haven't faced what I've faced, Meghan said. The coordinated campaigns, the tabloid attacks, the institutional failure to protect me. No, I probably haven't. Though I did have a stalker once who threatened to kill me. Had to wear a bulletproof vest to concerts for a while. That was pretty scary. The audience gasped softly. I'm not comparing traumas, Meghan said quickly. I'm just saying our situations are different. Every situation is different. That's why I don't compare. I just do my work and try to spread a little kindness. Seems to work out okay. The tension was now palpable. The hosts exchanged glances. Dolly, you've been very careful throughout your career not to take political sides, Joy said. That's unusual in today's climate. I've got fans who are Democrats and fans who are Republicans. I love them all equally. My job isn't to tell people how to vote. My job is to sing songs and help kids read. Why would I want to cut my audience in half? Some people would say that's avoiding responsibility, Meghan interjected. That having a platform requires using it to advocate for change. Dolly turned to face her again. I've advocated for plenty of things. Literacy, childhood education, disaster relief. I sent $1,000 a month to every family who lost their home in those Tennessee fires. That's not avoiding responsibility. That's just not making it about me. But there are issues that require taking a stand. And there are issues that require building bridges. I've found that when you stop seeing half the country as enemies, you can actually get things done with them. My programs run in red states and blue states because I don't make parents prove their politics before their kids get books. The audience applauded again. Meghan's expression had hardened. That approach works for entertainment. Advocacy requires something more. Does it? My entertainment approach has put 200 million books in children's hands. How many has the advocacy approach delivered? Whoopi jumped in. I think you're both coming at this from different angles. I don't need my angle defended, Meghan said sharply. I'm simply pointing out that there's more than one way to create change. And I'm agreeing with you, Dolly said, still infuriatingly calm. There's lots of ways. Yours involves talking about problems. Mine involves solving them quietly. Both have their place. I solve problems too. I'm sure you do. What problems has your foundation solved specifically? I'm genuinely curious. Meghan's mouth opened, closed. The pause stretched uncomfortably. We work on systemic issues, mental health awareness, community building. The outcomes aren't always quantifiable. See, my outcomes are real easy to count. 200 million books, number of kids enrolled, graduation rates in communities we serve. I like numbers. They don't lie. Not everything meaningful can be reduced to numbers. That's true. But when people give me money for books, they want to know the books got delivered. Accountability isn't a bad word. Joy tried again. Maybe we should talk about something lighter. I'd like to finish this discussion, Meghan said. There's an implication that my work is somehow inferior. Dolly shook her head. Honey, I haven't implied anything. You asked what I do. I told you. If the comparison is uncomfortable, that's not my doing. You've had an easy career, Meghan said suddenly. You've been beloved for decades. No one has attacked you the way they've attacked me. The panel froze. Even the audience went silent. Dolly's expression shifted, still kind, but with something steelier underneath. Easy? I grew up one of 12 children in a one-room cabin in the Smoky Mountains. We had no electricity, no running water. I wore a coat made from rags to school and got mocked for it. I've been called a dumb blonde, a hillbilly, a joke, for 60 years. I've had my music dismissed, my intelligence questioned, my appearance ridiculed. I've just chosen not to let any of that define me. Meghan seemed momentarily shaken, but recovered. I didn't mean... You said easy. My career hasn't been easy. It's been long. There's a difference. I've worked every day since I was a teenager. I've written thousands of songs. I've built businesses from nothing. I've never stopped, never complained publicly, never expected anyone to feel sorry for me. That's not easy. That's endurance. I was speaking about public perception. Public perception thinks I'm a big-haired cartoon. You know how I handle that? I lean into it. I make jokes about myself before anyone else can. That takes the power away from the critics. You might try it sometime. Whoopi's eyes widened. The audience made a collective sound, something between shock and appreciation. I don't think you understand what I've been through, Meghan said, her voice rising. Probably not. Just like you don't understand what I've been through. That's fair. We've lived different lives. But you presume to lecture me. I haven't lectured anyone. You asked about my work. I described it. You made comparisons. I responded. If this feels like a lecture, maybe you're hearing something I'm not saying. Sarah attempted intervention. Ladies, I think we're all on the same team here. Are we? Meghan turned to face the hosts. Because it feels like I'm being ganged up on. Nobody's ganging up, Joy said quickly. We're just having a conversation. A conversation where everything I say is questioned and everything she says gets applause. Dolly spread her hands. I can't control applause, darling. I just answer honestly. Maybe honesty is what's getting the reaction. Are you suggesting I'm not honest? I'm not suggesting anything. I'm observing that when I talk about concrete things, books delivered, families helped, people respond. When you talk about abstract things, systemic change, awareness, they're less sure what that means. Clarity gets better reception than vagueness. That's just human nature. I refuse to reduce my work to sound bites, Meghan said. Fair enough. But you also can't complain when people don't understand what they can't see. My books are visible. They're on shelves in homes across the world. What's the visible output of your foundation? Meghan stood up suddenly. The movement was jarring, unexpected. I don't have to justify myself to you. Dolly looked up at her, still seated, still calm. You certainly don't. But you came on a television show to discuss your work. That's what we've been doing. If the discussion isn't going the way you wanted, that's not my fault. The discussion has been hostile from the moment I sat down. Has it? Dolly looked at the hosts, then at the audience, then back at Meghan. I've been friendly as I know how. I've answered questions. I've shared my experience. If friendliness feels hostile, maybe examine why that is. Meghan grabbed her purse from beside the couch. I won't stay where I'm not respected. You've been respected, Whoopi said carefully. We've all been respectful. Disagreement isn't disrespect. It feels like disrespect. Dolly's voice was soft but clear. Honey, I've been in this business since before you were born. I've learned that feeling disrespected and being disrespected are different things. Sometimes we feel attacked when we're just being asked to explain ourselves. That's not about the asker. That's about us. Meghan walked toward the edge of the stage. This was a mistake. Coming on the show? Sonny asked. Coming on with her. Meghan gestured toward Dolly. The audience gasped audibly. Dolly's expression remained serene, but something flickered in her eyes. Hurt, perhaps, quickly mastered. I'm sorry you feel that way. I was looking forward to meeting you. I thought we might be friends. Friends don't undermine each other on national television. I haven't undermined you. I've talked about my own work. You're the one who made comparisons. You're the one who suggested my approach was insufficient. I've just defended what I do. Meghan was at the stage exit now. She turned back one final time. Not everyone can be America's sweetheart, Dolly. Some of us have to fight for everything. Dolly nodded slowly. I fought for everything too. I just did it with a smile. You might find that works better than you'd think. Meghan left. The door closed behind her. The studio was silent for a long moment. Dolly sat alone on the couch now, her usual sparkle dimmed slightly. Well, Whoopi said finally, that was something. I didn't mean to upset her, Dolly said quietly. I really didn't. You didn't do anything wrong, Joy assured her. You were yourself. That's all any of us can be. I don't understand what happened. I was trying to be friendly. Sonny leaned forward. Dolly, you've been nothing but gracious. She asked about your work. You explained it. She made comparisons that didn't favor her. That's not your fault. But she's clearly hurting. Nobody gets that defensive unless they're hurting inside. The audience made a collective sound of appreciation. Even now, even after being attacked, Dolly was showing compassion. That's what makes you different, Anna said. Most people would be angry right now. You're worried about her. I've learned that angry people are usually scared people. Whatever she's scared of, I hope she finds peace with it. Whoopi turned to face the camera. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with the one and only Dolly Parton. During the commercial break, Dolly sat quietly, gathering herself. The hosts surrounded her with quiet support. That was extraordinary, Sarah said. The grace you showed. It wasn't grace, honey. It was practice. 60 years of practice. When someone attacks you, you've got two choices. Fight back or rise above. I've found that rising above ages better. When they returned from break, Whoopi addressed the audience directly. Before we continue, I want to acknowledge what happened in our last segment. A guest became upset and left early. That's not typical for this show, and we want to be clear. Dolly Parton conducted herself with complete professionalism and warmth throughout. Any conflict that arose was not of her making. Dolly waved her hand. Let's not dwell on it. I'm sure Meghan has her reasons. I hope she's okay. That's incredibly generous, Joy said. Most people wouldn't be so understanding. What good does holding a grudge do? Life's too short, and I'm too old for that nonsense. I've got books to deliver and songs to write. That's where my energy goes. For Dolly Parton, the encounter became another chapter in a legendary career defined by grace under pressure, proof that her warmth wasn't performance, but essence. For Meghan Markle, it was something else entirely. She'd walked onto a stage with one of the most beloved figures in American culture, and somehow emerged as the villain. She'd picked a fight with a woman who'd never had a public fight, and lost spectacularly. She'd claimed persecution while attacking someone who only offered kindness. But for the millions who watched, the lesson was simpler than any of that. Two women sat on the same couch. One had spent 60 years giving away books to children. The other had spent 5 years talking about how hard her life was. One responded to challenge with humor and grace. The other responded with defensiveness and departure. Some comparisons make themselves. Dolly had earned her place through decades of work and generosity. Meghan wanted the same respect without the same investment. And when those two approaches shared a stage, only one of them could survive the comparison. It wasn't close. Dolly Parton didn't even raise her voice, and she still won. What do you think? If you want more stories like this, subscribe now. Be here when these moments drop. Turn on notifications. Don't let the algorithm hide this from you. More breakdowns coming. More truth being told. This is where it happens.